Here today for ElderHelp Family Caregiver webinar on the topic of support for you and your loved one. And this is a topic that I'm excited to share with you all about. So hopefully you'll learn some new resources that are local here in San Diego, and you'll be able to share those with others who may not be able to attend today's webinar as well. So let's go ahead and get started. So the objectives for today, we're going to talk about planning ahead in your caregiving journey. I will be highlighting a few local organizations and resources that they offer to residents here in San Diego. And I will also be highlighting upcoming educational programs and events that are specifically related to family caregivers and seniors. And this topic is one that I found would be important because there are so many different upcoming opportunities for education, for events that family caregivers really should be aware of and hopefully can participate in. So I'm excited to share those with you. So planning ahead, this is always a tough conversation because we're not always aware of what role we might play in supporting our aging loved ones, especially if your loved ones have been mostly independent and maybe they're maintaining a consistent schedule and a routine and you've only really seen minor changes over the years. It's difficult to know what the future may hold, what could happen tomorrow or 3 months from now or 3 years from now. But it is important to understand what resources might be available and try and figure out what the future may hold so that you can plan for those changes to happen. So this is something that we often hear from caregivers that it's not something that they planned. They didn't plan to be a primary family caregiver for their mother who recently had a fall, is not able to drive anymore, and requires more daily supervision and daily services. We also hear from people who are providing care long distance that it is a struggle for them to be available and to be a support to their family members while also continuing their work schedules and taking care of the families that they have in town. So there's a lot of different aspects that go along with being a family caregiver, and assuming this role among your other responsibilities can definitely be overwhelming. So if there's any chance to learn about resources ahead of time or figure out what's available should the time come when you need to lean on those, that's what we're here to talk about today. So whenever I speak with family caregivers out in the community at different events or different resources or doing presentations, more often than not, I hear, I wish I knew of this program when I was caring for my mother, my father, my aunt, fill in the blank. It's something that I hear quite often, and I had no idea resources were available to help me. That's something that is really common because unfortunately when somebody is in the midst of their caregiving journey, whatever that might look like, they may be providing care on a daily basis. So maybe it's before work, after work, or it could be on a full-time schedule that they're trying to provide that support to their loved ones. If they are not able to see what events are coming up or what resources are available, or they don't have anybody sharing that information with them, then they're not able to see and access those supports that might be able to help them throughout their process. So it's important for us to be aware of that, but also if you know any family members or friends or coworkers who are in that position and maybe are providing some type of care for a loved one and could benefit from being connected to resources, please help them do that because they might not be able to have the energy to do so on their own. It's also common for us to not pay attention to certain aspects or events or advertisements that are coming out if it doesn't pertain directly to our lives today. So for instance, if you don't have any children and you see a family event on a Saturday at the park, you're not going to look into it any further because that's not something that's relevant for you in your life. And that same aspect goes for events related to being a family caregiver. If you don't identify as being a family caregiver, if you don't see yourself in that role yet, then you're not going to be as inclined to see what resources are available. So of course, you are all here joining us for a family caregiver webinar. So that might be because you are currently providing care. It may be because you are looking ahead and seeing the changes in your own family and benefiting from learning about the resources ahead of time. Or it could be that you know somebody that's in those shoes that could benefit from learning about the information that we're going to share today. So I applaud you for all being here, and hopefully the information will be helpful for you and your family members. All right. So the important reminder is that there are resources available to support you and your loved one. And here in San Diego especially, we are so fortunate to have a lot of different organizations that are specifically providing support to family members who are caring for a loved one, as well as there are many organizations who are providing direct services for older adults in our community. So there's a lot of great resources out there. It's just a matter of getting them in the hands of the people who need them most. So I realize that this topic has a lot of different information involved, so I'm going to break it up into two different parts. So today we're going to talk about volunteer services, organizations that offer assistance through volunteers, whether that is respite care or other services. And we're also going to highlight family caregiver support programs. So these are organizations who provide family caregiver support. Maybe it's direct support, it could be through education and other avenues. So that's what we're going to highlight today. Our next webinar in March will be on the different care options, because that is a whole other topic on its own. So we will be discussing home care, adult day centers, home health care, and hospice. And those are really important services for us to remember when we are seeing changes in our loved ones, whether it's their health deteriorating suddenly or whether it's over a long period of time, you're noticing small changes. There are different resources that are available, and so we'll dive more into those care options next month. So for today, we're going to focus more on the volunteer services and the family caregiver support and the upcoming events that we have in San Diego. So I'm going to start by talking about ElderHelp for a minute. So we are a local nonprofit organization, and our mission is to provide services and information to seniors to help them remain independent and live with dignity in their own homes. And that's something that is important to us. It's also something that is important to a lot of the seniors that we come in contact with through our different programs or through our information and referral phone calls. And we want to help to support those older adults by being able to stay in their own community, in their own home where they've lived for so many years and could benefit from having that familiar environment surrounding them for as long as possible. So through all of our programs, we really help to reduce social isolation. So for those who are lonely and not getting out as much, we want to bring them back out into the community and provide them access to socialization. We are also helping to increase their access to healthcare by providing rides to appointments with their doctors or physical therapists, and also their medications from the pharmacy. And overall, we are aiming to improve their quality of life by having access to socialization and having those different benefits in place on a weekly basis. It's important for them to have that information and be connected. So this just gives a brief overview of the programs that we have. So I mentioned information and referral. One thing that we have done for many, many years is we answer different calls from community members, whether it is seniors or older adults themselves, or whether it's family members, concerned neighbors, social workers, our doctors, who are looking for resources and they're not sure where to turn. So if that's something that you could benefit from, just having information and trying to find out what resources are available, you can always feel free to give our office a call. We also do daily check-in calls for seniors who may be living alone and may not have somebody who's able to check in on them, or we can be an added support to family members. So if you're worried about your loved one or maybe don't have the chance to call them every day like you would like to, we can do those check-in calls for you and notify you if something comes up that you should be aware of. We have our Seniors A Go-Go transportation team, and that is a program that is primarily offered by volunteers. So volunteers provide rides to seniors to and from doctor's appointments, as well as social activities and outings. So that's a very important program. Our care coordination program goes beyond just transportation. So through that, we have our social workers that provide support and advocacy and do assessments to really get a better understanding of what somebody's needs are so that we can better connect them with the resources available. We also have volunteer services through that program that will help with grocery shopping, friendly visits, minor home repairs, yard work, pet care, different things along those lines for those individuals who could benefit from that support. And that is available to those whether they have family members involved or not. We also have a program called Home Share that is a roommate matching service, essentially. We facilitate a match between a home provider, an individual who has a spare room in their home, with another person we call a home seeker, somebody who is looking for a room to move into. And the home seeker might move in and just pay rent to be there as a roommate, or they may move in and provide services in exchange for staying in the room and would be paying a lowered rent cost. So that's another option. And then our family caregiver support, that's where we offer these webinars on a variety of topics related to being a family caregiver. And we also have our 5 online courses that we've created that help walk family members through a caregiving journey and provide access to helpful assessment tools and education if you're looking for more information on that. So feel free to check those out all through our website. And now I'm going to go into some of the community resources that I often refer people to when I'm out at different events, and these are just a few of the organizations. I want to make note there are so many resources in San Diego, but I'm just highlighting a few of the most common resources that our family members find it helpful. So the first is Southern Caregiver Resource Center. So Southern Caregiver Resource Center is a local nonprofit organization here in San Diego, and they specifically provide support to family caregivers. They do that through a number of different ways. It could be one-on-one counseling or case management. They also offer different support groups for family members to meet other family members who are caring for loved ones. They also provide quite a bit of community education, and they hold conferences and lectures, and we'll talk about the upcoming events that they have. And I did want to highlight a new program that they are offering that's called Together Care, and this is provided funding from the County of San Diego Aging and Independent Services, and it's specifically geared at providing respite care to family caregivers who are caring for a loved one with Alzheimer's or another related dementia. And the idea behind this is that they are able to offer a discounted rate for home care services. So instead of it being $26 or $28 an hour for somebody to come out through a home care agency, through this program, individuals who qualify would be able to have that support at about half the cost. So that's a pretty good benefit, and I'm I'm happy to share the contact information at the bottom of the screen for anybody who would be interested in learning more about that program specifically, but also their other services. And I will send out this information after the webinar as well, so you have the easy link to their website as well as their phone number should you wish to contact them about their other services. So now to highlight some of the upcoming educational opportunities through Southern Caregiver Resource Center. These are just the next few that are coming up over the upcoming couple of months, but they have different opportunities that happen year-round. So in March, they are doing a Strong Caregiver, Stronger Families conference, and that will be held up in North County. And the focus of that event is on military and veteran families specifically. So that's the focus, that they are going to be providing support and education for those individuals. In April on the 23rd, there will be a book reading. So that one is a little bit of a unique opportunity. It will be with author Susan Miller, who is a former caregiver herself and wrote about the challenges of her caregiving journey. So if that's something that you're interested in, that will be taking place at the Silverado Encinitas Memory Care. And then in May, they are going to be collaborating with the District Attorney's Office and doing a conference specifically related to preventing elder abuse and supporting the caregiver. So that will be, I'm sure, a very well-attended conference. Anything with the District Attorney's Office tends to get quite a bit of interest, and rightfully so. They do a lot of great work to support our community and to support our older adults staying safe. So that's just a little bit about Southern Caregiver Resource Center, but again, their website has a lot of information, and they would be happy to share any other details about their resources and programs with you if you contact them directly. All right, so now we're going to move to Alzheimer's San Diego. And Alzheimer's San Diego is here locally in our community. They provide support to individuals who are living with Alzheimer's disease or another form of dementia. They also provide support to family members who might be caring for a loved one dealing with this diagnosis. So they provide support through different groups. So they have a men's support group, among others. They also provide community education in a variety of ways and locations. They do memory screenings for people who might be concerned about the beginning stages of memory loss. And they also have a ALS companion program that offers visits by volunteers to provide respite to family caregivers. And typically that's on a weekly basis, where they would have a volunteer come out for 4 hours a week to provide that respite, so that family caregivers are able to go and run errands, but also have a little bit of me time for that week. So that's something that they offer. And there's their website and their phone number as well. And again, I will include that in the recording email that I send out after the orientation. So here are some upcoming educational opportunities with Alzheimer's San Diego. February 25th, so just around the corner, they will be having 2 different opportunities. One is living with memory loss, and that would be in the morning, and the other would be long distance caregiving in the evening. Both of those will be held at the Alzheimer's San Diego location, which is just central in San Diego. And later in the week, next week, they will be having Confessions of a Caregiver at the same location. And so that, what I really enjoy about Alzheimer's San Diego is they try and put the caregivers, all of the different aspects into the educational opportunities. So if there are different challenges that you're facing. Even if you feel like you're the only one that's dealing with it, chances are they have helped family caregivers going through similar situations, and they may have a support group or an educational presentation on that topic. So feel free to check that out. March 3rd, managing resistance. Caregiving is not always an easy task, so that could be a really helpful topic for you to check out. And then March 10th is living in the moment. So those are just a few that are coming up, but their schedule is very full. So if you check out their website, they have a lot of information and their calendar listed, so you can check out what's coming up. All right, I'm gonna move now to St. Paul Senior Services. So St. Paul's Senior Services offers quite a variety of assistance and support for seniors, but also for family caregivers. So they have different locations that are residential facilities. So they offer independent living, assisted living, and memory care facilities in 2 separate locations. So one would be in St. Paul's Plaza, which is located in Chula Vista, and the other is St. Paul's Manor in San Diego. So if you're looking at potentially your loved one moving out of their home and looking for alternative living arrangements, this might be an option for them. And again, it's just one of the many resources in San Diego for this. They also offer a senior day program at their San Diego location. So if you're looking for an opportunity for your loved one to go and visit and have socialization and activities during the day while you're at work, that might be a good opportunity for them to get connected to. They also have a great program that's called St. Paul's PACE, and PACE stands for Program of All-Inclusive Care for the Elderly. They have 3 different locations for their centers, which would be San Diego, Chula Vista, and El Cajon. But the idea behind this program is to support seniors who are still wanting to continue living at home, but are maybe starting to require some extra assistance and have medical needs and social needs related. So what they provide is really the all-inclusive care for that person to be able to stay living in their home, but by having access to caregivers who might come to the house on a daily basis or weekly basis to help them with meal preparation or bathing. It could be that they are needing to come to the center and have physical therapy, or they come for meals or to see a dietitian. So there's all different types of services that they offer at their centers, but it's all geared around keeping the senior living in their own home. So programs are available at home as well as in their centers. So that's something to check out. I did not include a phone number because they have so many different locations. They have special phone numbers for each location and each program. So if you go to their website at stpaulseniors.org, you would be able to find the exact contact information for whichever program you're most interested in, and you can go from there. So in addition to having those different resources, they have also created a educational series for seniors, but also for family members who are caring for a loved one. So they call it Plan for Tomorrow Today, and they have the next 3 upcoming presentations are listed here. So February 22nd, I realize that's short notice, that's just on Saturday, but they are going to be talking about planning ahead. And that will take place at their St. Paul's Plaza in Chula Vista. So you'd be able to check out their plaza at the same time as getting some education around planning ahead. They're going to discuss the 5 essential documents everybody needs to know, how to have tough conversations with family, and also about insurance and covering the cost of care. In April, they will be doing a presentation on senior living and care options, and that will be talking about navigating the medical system. So whether it's hospitals, skilled nursing, the discharge plan, specifically VA benefits for senior care, and also selling your home and downsizing. and that will be held at the St. Paul's PACE location in El Cajon. So again, a chance to check out their PACE location. That would be in the El Cajon location. And in June, they will be having a workshop on physical and mental health, and that is going to be related to staying safe at home, fall prevention, memory concerns, and mental health and senior isolation. And that will be held at the St. Paul's Villa in San Diego. So those are just a few of their upcoming opportunities through their educational series, but I definitely encourage you to check those out if you are able to. And there is a local group that is called the Caregiver Coalition, and ElderHelp is involved with this group, as well as several other senior service organizations or providers. And what we do is we collaborate together to provide support to family caregivers who are living in San Diego. And we do that through educational conferences as well as by connecting to resources. So there are conferences that are held throughout the year all over the county. So depending on where you live in the county, there might be one close to you. They have also created a caregiver's handbook that is very user-friendly and has a lot of great information and tools for family caregivers, and that's available online on the website at caregivercoalitionsd.org. So I encourage you to check that out as well. And they have an upcoming webinar that will be taking place on March 6th, and it's called Hoarding Disorder Characteristics and Treatment. They will be having the speaker, John Galt, who is a clinical social worker, specifically with the UCSD CREST program, and he will be talking about hoarding disorder. And he's a great speaker, so I encourage you to check that out if you have concerns with your loved ones and potentially them accumulating more things in their home and it becoming an unsafe environment. So I want to make sure that you're aware of an upcoming event that will be taking place. It is called the Caregiver SD Community Expo. It's a free event that is being put on through the San Diego Union Tribune. And this event is a really important one for family caregivers to attend. They hold it on a Saturday, so even if you're working, hopefully that will work with your schedule. Even if you come for a part of the day, you will have access to great speakers and education, also a resource row. ElderHelp will be there with a table to represent our services, but it's a great opportunity for you as family caregivers to find out all of the resources available in San Diego. It would take me all day to share everything that is available, but this is kind of a catch-all. It's a great event. This year's keynote speaker is Lisa Gibbons, so I encourage you to check out more information about that. And the registration I will send out in the email as well so that you have it. That will be a really good event to attend, and you might get overwhelmed with all of the resources, but again, it's important to compile that, keep it on hand so that should you need them in the future, you at least have your go-to spot for what you collected at an event of that size. All right. And then just again for webinar through ElderHelp, it will be on different care options. So we'll do a deeper dive into home care, home health care, as well as hospice. So save the date for Thursday, March 19th. Again, it would be from 11 to 11:30, and we will go into more of that information. So hopefully you can join us then. I did want to mention a few other helpful resources, and I realize we're just at the end of our time, so I'll be brief with this. But Aging and Independent Services is here through the San Diego County, and they offer a lot of programs for older adults and adults with disabilities. They have a 1-800 number that you can access to talk to their call center about the different programs available. They also have a respite program called Legacy Corps that works with AmeriCorps volunteers to help provide support to family caregivers, specifically for those who are caring for a veteran or active duty military as well. They are also the phone number to call if you are concerned about a loved one or a neighbor and would need to make a report to Adult Protective Services for potential or alleged abuse. There are also the phone number for in-home supportive services, which is a benefit that we will talk more about next month for people who are on Medi-Cal who might benefit from having a caregiver come out and help them. In-home supportive services is something that you do need to qualify for, but it could also help to cover a family caregiver who is providing that support, and they might be able to get paid for their services as well. The Health Insurance Counseling and Advocacy Program, also known as HICAP, they offer free unbiased Medicare-related counseling. So I encourage you, if you have any questions about Medicare or other related insurances, that could be a great place to start and ask those questions. They are also connected to Elder Law and Advocacy, which is an organization that provides free legal assistance for anyone over age 60. So those are just helpful resources for you to know about. And again, those are our go-tos that we often refer people to. I realized that was a lot of information, so hopefully it was helpful. Hopefully you got some nuggets that you'll be able to take note of, and maybe they're going to benefit you in your current role now, but maybe they'll come in handy later on in the future in your caregiving journey. As always, if you have any questions and want to reach out to us, you have my contact information. My email address is here, as well as if you have general inquiries for ElderHelp's programs. Feel free to contact our phone number or send an email through our info@elderhelpofsandiego.org email address. Our website will have all of the past webinars that we have recorded. They will be in our family caregiver page in our library, so check that out, as well as you can get a link to our courses. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer those. If you feel more comfortable sending them to me via email, feel free to do that as well. But again, I thank you so much for joining me today. I hope the information was helpful, and I hope you have a good rest of your day, and hopefully I'll see you at one of the upcoming events. Thanks so much.